Welcome to the Business Growth Masterclass, where business growth is made simple. I'm your host, Albert Gillespie.
And I'm your co-host, Kellen Ketchersid. Join us as we bring you stories from business leaders so you can learn from their wins, their losses, and everything in between.
Hey guys, quick note on this episode. We had a little technical difficulties with the sound on this one. It's a great episode with great stories and some great lessons. But as soon as the interview starts, you're going to want to turn your volume up, crank it up so you can hear it. I apologize for the inconvenience. Fix it on the next one, but turn the volume up. I think you're going to like this one. Enjoy. Today's guest is the owner of Carpet Tech, a well-known and loved brand here in Lubbock, Texas. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Chet Pharies.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. We've been looking forward to it. And just before we hit record, we were having a good conversation. So I wanted to start with the listeners, just telling them that, a lot of people don't know it's your fault that Brian Urlacher didn't play at Texas Tech. You need to tell us about that.
So we were talking about my son playing at Angelo State and how his little brother plays at Eastern New Mexico. We were talking about how recruiting changed. And I said, well, I'm the reason that Brian Urlacher didn't come to Tech. It was between me and him, and Coach Dykes picked me for some crazy reason. He'd be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew what the outcome was.
Well, that's a pretty cool connection. So, and you guys played together in high school, right?
Well, in the All-Star game, yeah. Okay. He was from Lovington, and I was from Clovis, both New Mexico schools. So he was my receiver in the North-South All-Star game, and got a lot of touchdowns.
I can't imagine Brian Urlacher as a receiver.
Yes.
Yeah, and those are not big schools, and I imagine they weren't any bigger back then. My wife's from Artesia, yep. And my nephew he played in Artesia, and those that Clovis, Roswell, those rivalries get pretty intense. I can't imagine being on the All-Star team together and trying to get along.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, they really did. I thought I had that muted. I'm sorry. The New Mexico is big rivalries between Roswell and Clovis and Hobbs, and yeah, it was a pretty big deal, and for both of us to be there, it was at least. Luckily, we were on the same team, so we didn't have to prove ourselves against each other.
So on the Mount Rushmore of linebackers, we got Dick Butkus, we got Brian Urlacher, and I guess we should have left a spot for Chet Pharies up there.
Well, Brian was a receiver. He was tiny in high school. I mean, he was tall. He had a big frame.
Yeah.
He could jump out of the gym. But when he went to New Mexico, they put him on a weight program, and it worked.
Yeah. I can't imagine a skinny Brian Urlacher. That's funny.
Yeah, it was. He lost his neck and grew some biceps. The next time I saw him, I was like, my goodness.
Yeah.
So what monster.
So what position did you play?
I played quarterback and free safety in high school. Yeah. I played outside linebacker at Tech.
Okay. Yeah. So you both grew into being a linebacker.
That's right.
Yeah. Y'all were nerding out on like mid 90s or late 90s Tech folk. I grew up in the Metroplex, and I didn't know Tech existed until like my sophomore year of high school. So I'm missing out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was all about it. So you were telling us that you played on the team for a couple of years before you started this career that we want to hear about today, right?
Yeah, I got a scholarship to Tech over Brian Urlacher, as we already discussed.
Yeah.
And I guess it was my second year, my brother got diagnosed with cancer and passed away. And so I went and talked to Coach Dykes. I remember it clear as yesterday. He said, one more day, come back one more day. And I walked out and never came back, and I've regretted it every day ever since.
Have you really?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's my one regret in life. It was the biggest mistake I ever made. So.
Well, but you seem to have done okay since then. So.
Well, I'm a janitor, so it's not quite as good as being an NFL star.
Yeah.
But I guess it worked out okay.
Yeah. So tell our listeners what it is that you do and about your company.
So my brother, who started Carpet Tech, originally just started cleaning carpet. There's not much money in carpet cleaning. So we fight that battle every day. So I say, I'm with Carpet Tech. They said, well, we don't have carpet. And I'm like, well, we do a lot more than just carpet cleaning. It's grown into restoration, which is probably our main function, and then specialty flooring, polished concrete, installing wood, air ducts, area rugs.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of rebranding for that reason alone, because we're having a really hard time fighting that battle, is that we do more than just carpet cleaning. So
Right.
that's our new mission and our new curve to try to keep us on top. Or it's really hard to continuously grow, as big as we're getting. So we feel like this is a necessary step to get us to the next level, start franchising and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Give me a lay of the land. I know there's multiple, maybe not entities, or at least there's multiple DBAs here. You guys have Bug Tech.
Yes.
You have Carpet Tech Construction.
Yep. CT Construction.
CT Construction. Okay, what are the other ones?
So everything is kind of a spin-off of Carpet Tech. CT is our brand. So we'll now have CT Restoration.
And restoration for our listeners, is that like insurance, some kind of flood or fire occurred, and what is that?
Yeah, if your toilet overflows, or you leave the microwave on, or whatever, just restoring water damage and fire damage.
Okay.
Mainly, and then CT Construction and CT Specialty Flooring, which will be our main brands moving forward by Carpet Tech.
Okay.
Just a small. If we go to Austin, no one's going to use Carpet Tech.
Right.
No one's even going to understand what Carpet Tech does. They're going to be like, that's Texas Tech, and they're kicking everybody's ass right now. So I'm not using them. So that's the reason for the co-branding or the branding change, is for new markets that don't support Texas Tech like we do.
Sure. Well, it's going to be exciting to see you guys move into this franchise era that you just referred to. So,
yes, sir.
Is that something that's already launched, or is that in the future?
We just started it.
Okay.
We haven't actually started. We're doing all the back work. You'll see our trucks look different. Our marketing looks different. Everything's beginning to look different, and then we'll get the model in place before we start branching out and selling franchises.
Wow. How many employees do you guys have in town at this point? Do you know?
So I believe there's like 300 company-wide right now.
Okay.
I don't know how many in Lubbock. That's all 7 locations.
That's a lot of people.
Okay, what locations are you in?
So we're in McKinney, Permian Basin, which is Midland, Odessa, Clovis, New Mexico, my old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Amarillo, and San Angelo.
Okay.
And Lubbock,
Okay.
of course.
So West Texas and McKinney.
West Texas, Eastern Mexico, and then DFW.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. The Carpet Tech brand is so well known. You see it everywhere you turn.
Yeah.
Here in Lubbock. I'm curious. I want more of the origin story.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it.
It is okay. So you walked off the Texas Tech football team.
Yep.
Carry that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
What's next? Tell me that origin story, because there's a lot that went on from then to the Carpet Tech today.
There's a lot. So my big brother Chad, which coincidentally my son is named after, and my brother's son is named after. So we have 2 Chad Pharies now. My big brother is Chet Pharies, and one of them works at Carpet Tech, and the other one will eventually. Anyway, so when he got sick, my dad sold the van to a local fireman because he was too sick to operate it as a little Astro minivan. It's in our showroom. Y'all should come see it sometime.
Yeah.
That's a funny story. We'll get to that. So sold the van. I started selling trucks at Pollard Ford after I quit football. What a great move that was. I mean, can you imagine? Anyway, worst time of my entire life.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
It was awful. Met some great guys, still friends with them. Anyway, the fireman called my dad and said, hey, we're not doing anything with this van. Would you like to buy it back? And my dad called me and I said, man, I have no interest in cleaning carpet, but I will because it was Chad. So I bought the van back and started, just getting a little drive and fire back because it was his, to live on his legacy. and started marketing to local realtors and bugging them to death till they just said, here, go clean this. I'm serious. I would go sit in their office till they said, would you go clean this or something? And I was pretty good at it. Good work ethic, being an athlete, it's hard work. It's terrible work, actually.
Yeah.
And then we just started adding vans and adding great people. That's
growing
key.
from there.
And growing from there.
Yeah, everybody we talk to is a theme. Anybody who's had a successful growth phase, they always talk about getting great people.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Like, what was your strategy for finding? Was it just people who you already knew, or how did you add them?
So my best advice is it all has the worst thing about that is they all have a lifespan, right?
Yeah.
So you find the great people for that time period, and then the business outgrows them. So unless you stay on top of that, and I've been through that 3 or 4 times. But with me, it was getting the groups. Like I would hire a young man, that fit the bill, good looking, like y'all, athletic, that people wanted in their house, and they would have friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cool place to be, so the friends would come to work, and then it just stacked on from that.
Yeah, it gets momentum of its own.
That's right.
Very cool.
And the biggest challenge has been, so now those guys are old. They've been with me 20 years. They're in their 40s. Carpet cleaning is not something you got to do.
Yeah.
So you constantly have to repeat that. And that has been a huge challenge, especially in today's world, because it's not glamorous. I mean, they make good money. We make good money and we pay them well.
Mm-hmm.
But, you get a good looking guy that could go anywhere, and you ask him to be a janitor and work odd hours all the time, sweating.
That's tough.
That's tough, especially now.
I like how he kept gesturing at you
No,
when he was saying good
I
looking guys.
I was looking at both of y'all. I was.
Oh, teasing.
Athletes are the best.
Yeah. They're used to going through some hard things and physically demanding times. What were you going to say, Albert?
Yeah, I am curious. And so you've grown, initially it was carpet cleaning, and you're bugging people until they tell you to leave my office and go to work. And then you start these other subsidiaries that are a little more complex, rather than just carpet cleaning. Now we're going to do a little bit of construction. We're going to do some flooring replacement, this and that. Are you finding a guy to build that business around? Are you promoting from within that you've got, this guy who's been a hard worker and kind of grown and matured and he's ready for the next thing? I mean, talk me through that. How do you build these subsidiaries? How do you go about that?
So most of the time it starts with me, or it has in the past, that, I told Miss Robertson that we can't put your carpet back. We can't put that wall back, or we can't dry this out. And I was constantly suggesting, or recommending other people that I can't put my name on. So that's how I picked up the new services. And in the beginning, in the original, I would always be the one doing, I started the restoration, I started the reconstruction, and then I would just find people always within. Very rarely, until this stage in our business, have we ever hired outside. But
why is that? Say that for our listeners. Why is that important?
Because of the lifespan of employees and their capability. So I needed people that had already done this, that had the knowledge, because I couldn't be there anymore and couldn't learn it. And you take a different skill set from a carpet cleaner to a specialty flooring, polishing concrete, or to a management position in a large business now.
Yeah.
And it's just not something that can be taught or learned anymore. Before it always could. We would take a great technician and send him to Midland to run that store. 3 times out of 5 it doesn't work, because that's not what they do.
Yeah.
And as you get bigger and there's 20, 30, 40 techs, you got to have someone that can do that.
Has seen it. Yeah. Well, and then them, so you've got that trust that you know what you're dealing with, and it gives them that next rung on the ladder to look at and think, hey, I could be the next guy there. So I can see how that builds loyalty too in your company, keep people excited about what's next. So that's just a good lesson for people who are listening, I think, is oftentimes you're better off just looking for the talent that you already know.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you got to have a stepping stone for them, or else you're going to lose them, and you hate to lose good people.
Right.
Hate to.
All right, getting back into the stories. You slowly started building this, adding more trucks, adding maybe more A-team vans, whatever they are.
Yeah, we do have a couple of those.
Tell me about
when things started growing. Is that where you were headed?
Yeah. I was going like, what was the moment where you're like, okay, we have something. This can be successful.
I don't think there ever is or was a moment, honestly. I know that's probably not what y'all two want to hear, what the listeners want to hear, but there's never that point. It's a constant struggle. You do go get momentum where you're big enough that it would take a lot to sink you, but it never stops. It's always, because everybody else is getting hungrier, right? Your competition, they're you 30 years ago. So they're going out and visiting people. They're sitting in that office till they get a job. We're at home waiting on the phone to ring, because we're not near as hungry. So it never, ever stops. Once you get a good enough name and you get a good word of mouth, that's what the point that you were talking about, where it kind of shifts, but you only get one shot at one time you send a bad tech.
Yeah.
And that is shot in our industry. So there's really no turning point. You can't stop and breathe. It's 7 days a week, all the time. At least for me, I have not learned how. I've watched and admired other business owners in different industries, and even in mine, that have it figured out and that can say, hey, I'm just not there yet. So when I get there, I will definitely come back and let y'all know.
Let me know. I would. You're a humble guy. I appreciate it. The Carpet Tech brand is a well-known brand in Lubbock that has a good reputation. Has a reputation of being professional, clean-cut guys.
Yeah.
You're not nervous about leaving your wife at home with some some random contractor. So tell me about the brand. How did you Carpet Tech?
Yeah.
Being here in Lubbock, Texas, with Texas Tech, how did you guys get that brand? What's the story about the name?
So back then they were way loose, and my brother and a friend were just sitting on a couch and came up with Carpet Tech. I think his friend actually did, and he used Raider Red, with the guns up, like the exact. So they've since become strict about that. So we were grandfathered in at that point.
Oh, you dog!
That's
okay.
nice.
I did not know that
early.
Yeah, we were in there for 30 years. So
very cool.
We did have to change the logo, and we struggled with that. We put a wand in his hand instead of guns in his hand. Now he has a buffer and bug sprayer and all kinds of stuff.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and we just changed it enough to satisfy tech in order for us to get the license on it.
Hopefully Looney Tunes too, right? Because Yosemite Sam, I feel like.
Thank goodness they haven't got involved, so we maybe that's yet to come.
No, I think it's a Raider Red. That's what we're going to say.
We'll stick with that, yeah.
That is, I have always wondered that, because they are very, very strict, but y'all were just early enough in the game.
Yeah, Chad beat him to the punch. And it was just one little van, and we knew when it started, so by the time they said, wait a second, this is going to be a big company, it was too late.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Oh, and Melinda, my wife, or ex-wife, had Coach Sharp on her side, so she helped fight the battle as well. That was a big help. Melinda was a basketball star, played point guard for Coach Sharp.
Wow. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all were a family of athletes.
Yeah, that's where I met her, in the weight room. Anyway, Coach Sharp went to bat for us too, so that was very helpful.
Wow. Yeah, so getting back to the story in that you were saying, there was no moment. We've seen that. We had Dusty Wumble on the podcast recently, and one phrase that kept coming to mind that you've probably heard before is something along the lines of, it took 20 years to become an overnight success,
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's that daily hard work that eventually pays off, and to the people around, to us, it might look like, hey, Carpet Tech's this huge thing that just blew up, but really it was just a lot of hard work and day after day that you're talking about, those 7 days a week. So as you went through that in your story, was there a time that was especially challenging, or as a businessman, a hurdle that you had to get past that would be a good lesson for our listeners?
So my biggest challenge or hurdle was losing people. So, I lost a manager in Permian Basin. So here I am moving down there for 8 months to live.
Oh, wow. When was this?
In 21, I believe, maybe
Okay.
22.
So not too long ago.
No.
Yeah.
No, not long ago at all. So yeah, it's just, as the business owner, you got to step in. Nobody understands that. What do we do? Just say, close the doors there? You just gonna,
Not an option.
Not an option. So you just got to do what you do. And like I said, I pray one day I can be in Dusty Womble's seat or someone like him and say, that was the moment. But I am just not there yet.
Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, I think for a lot of people who are listening here, they would say, yeah, I think you figured out a lot. So, but there's a lesson in the willingness to, like you said, was it Midland that you went down to, you said, for 8 months?
Mm-hmm. Actually, our shop's in Odessa, but
Okay.
we service Midland and Odessa
Yeah.
in that location.
So just the willingness to jump in and fill the gap, I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people can take a lesson from, for sure.
Yeah, so much of this is just the journey.
Yeah.
You never really arrive, and as an entrepreneur,
There you go.
and maybe you can relate to this. It becomes your life. It becomes a part of your life, or integrated with your life. And if you're intentional with it, you get to design a pretty good life.
Yeah.
You get to make time for your kids. You get to make time for your wife, for vacations, and you don't have the same hours. Maybe you got to move down to Midland for 8 months.
Yeah.
But that's part of the journey. You still have to go kill it and bring it home.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So someone that's probably not as much of a workaholic as me and a perfectionist could probably have figured this out way before and have what you're talking about. And I have friends that do, and I admire it greatly.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I just haven't figured that out yet. Maybe it's a control issue. I don't know. Maybe it's I have this dream of where my brother's business needs to be, and I will not let go of it no matter what. I don't know that either. But for me and the way I handle and run Carpet Tech and CT Restoration, I step in everywhere all the time, and that's just how my life has been, period.
Do you have any of your guys that started as the guy at the bottom rung of the totem pole,
Absolutely.
going and picking up the trash, to maybe he's in a leadership position today? Do you have any of those guys?
Yeah, dozens of them.
Okay, tell me a good story.
Blaze Bingham, our COO, was my helper for 8 years. Like in the carpet cleaning vans, you have a crew chief and you have a helper. So he sits over there and goes and gets you spotters and whatever you tell him to.
Mm-hmm.
He was 17 when I hired him. Just an absolute punk kid. He was. I love him to death. But he was punk. He's from Seminole.
Nice.
Great athlete. And he's worked his way up. And now he runs the entire company.
Wow.
All of our branch managers have the same story. My right-hand man, Darren Hatley, and Delaney Williams, and Newly Hester, and everybody that's in, the top tier of the company now, started at the very bottom and worked their way up.
Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a book reference here. Have we talked about it? Okay, there's a book called The Dream Manager, and it's a parable told through a story of basically a janitorial company that they have this crazy turnover. I think they had like 400% turnover. They'd lose people 4 times a year, and they built this program within the business that basically they help them fulfill their dreams in life. And the tagline from the book is, business owners expect employees to add value to the life of the business, and the business in turn needs to add value to the life of the employees.
Yeah.
And through this story, it goes through, their techs, their crew chiefs, their whatever, that you kind of pour into them and help build them up to a fully, capable, formed person, and kind of share that vision of, it's janitorial work. It's cleaning carpets. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous.
Yeah.
But the vision of a full career.
Yeah.
And a place where you can grow. You can come show up on time, do what you say you're going to do, and look up 10 years and you've built something.
Yeah, and you're somewhere.
Yeah.
What was the name of that book?
The Dream Manager.
The Dream Manager.
Yeah, it's great. I think you'd like it.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, same. I haven't read that one either, but it sounds good. One thing you said earlier that resonated with me, and you're not the first business owner I've heard say it, is about, if you can find somebody who's got some athletics in their background, it's not like, oh, I always need to hire an athlete, but there's something about somebody who comes from that background that often translates well into hard work. Why do you think that is?
Just the way they were brought up. Yeah, just mind over matter.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in, that's not every industry. And we do have non-athletes that are successful in our company, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But they have athletic genes in their, they have that work ethic instilled in them from something else. Maybe they were in a karate, or maybe they were just great at school and studied hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the ability to have a coach yell at you, get on the line and run 1040s, get up and do it again, builds character.
It does.
And our business, or what we do for a living, you have to have character, period. And you know how to be a leader, you know how to work with a team, you know how to get along with people, you know how to build camaraderie. There's just a lot of life lessons that make you successful down the road that came from what you thought was just out kicking the ball around, or whatever it is.
I can see that. I can see that in your teams in particular. I've been at the grocery store before, at a restaurant, and then the carpet tech crew pulls up and gets out. And it reminds me of like if a local basketball team got out of the bus or something, because they're all giving each other a hard time. And you can tell they're like together every day.
Yeah.
And there's something to building a culture like that I think a lot of business owners can learn from. Like you said, you don't have to hire athletes, but having a shorthand way to figure out what kind of people are really driven, know what it's like to just hang in there even when you're sweaty and hot and don't feel like going anymore. There's a lot to that kind of character building. So I think it's cool you found a little shortcut there with your hiring.
I'm trying to keep my boys are 9 and 7, and we're deep in youth sports at this point, and that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point of sports for our family and so many families, is to build that tenacity, to build that work ethic. Maybe we're going to win and build some confidence too, but I'm not a 6'2" large human. That my boys didn't win the genetic lottery, but they're going to learn to work.
They are,
and
no matter what size they are,
and they're going to be tenacious.
Yeah.
And that's, I think in a lot of trades, it's not a 9-to-5 job. You're not working banker hours. You're done when the job's done.
That's right.
And having that work ethic to quit when the job's done, you show up on time, do what you say you're going to do, and get the job done. You're going to look up 10 years from now. I've already said it. You're going to look up 10 years from now, and you've built something, and you've built a career. And I think that I lose sight of that. I don't know, maybe you don't, Kellen, but a lot of times in the middle of the season, when my boys are struggling, this and that, and maybe I'm paying too much attention to their batting average or whatever. And so much of the purpose of sports is to build that character and build, strong, capable, tenacious men and children.
They'll show up even when the motivation's not there.
That's right.
And but it is great when the motivation's there. So I guess I want to know, for you, on that note, what gets you excited when you're thinking about carpet tech and future? What are some things that you just get revved up about?
Man, it's not what you think it would be. It has nothing to do with money at all.
Yeah.
It's just the drive to succeed. It's a severe illness that I have. Building something, I really think it goes back to me quitting football. and the fact that I walked out on something that I had given my life to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I went to bed on time. I worked out 3 days, 3 times a day. I ate right. Football and the success of that was all I did. So when I gave that up, I think I kind of built a complex in myself that I will never fail again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bad. Like, I've lost some good people over the fact that, hey, just like you said, we're not clock watchers. We're going to work till it's 2 a.m.
We're going to get it done.
That's when we're done.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with that clock on the wall. And so I have to battle with that sometimes. Like, hey, this isn't important to them as it is to me. So let them go. You stay and do it. You're the main beneficiary. At least that's the way they see it. Why am I here? You're the one that benefits the most from it, which isn't accurate, by the way. But that's the way they see it. So that's how we play it out. If that answers your question.
Yeah, you've got that drive in you,
Yep.
And I think a lot of business owners have that. That's a missing piece that people who aren't business owners often, maybe sometimes the job is just come in and punch the clock and get a check and go home. And
It's hard to remember.
there's something inside you that maybe is built a little different. You were also talking about your brother a minute ago. Does being true to his legacy, is that a big motivator for you too?
It does play a big role in it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
all over my office, pictures in the van. And that's a huge thing is I want so bad to continue his legacy. We're 30 years in, but still feels fairly new. And I want to be able to pass that down to my Chad and my brother's Chad and our kids so that they can continue it. And I don't want to be the one that dropped the ball, So the fear of failure and letting that not happen plays heavy on me.
I like the recipe that he has of an entrepreneur is like the athlete, the discipline, the get the job done, the tenacity, and then that chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I can relate to that in a lot of ways. There's always those lessons you learn of that one thing I quit. When I was 17 years old, and you still think about it. You're like,
Absolutely.
Man, I disappointed so many people.
Well,
And I never want to do that again.
when people talk about that chip on the shoulder all the time with, people who've done great things like Tom Brady or Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan make up stories in his mind about how he was wronged by somebody that weren't even accurate, just so that he could be angry and do more. And he believed it. Yeah. He still to this day, if you've ever seen him in an interview, you've seen that. It's just still there. It's part of his DNA now. But
That's right.
go ahead.
Tell me, okay, so we have specialty floors and CT construction
Mm-hmm.
is the next brand growing forward. And you mentioned wanting to franchise and expand. So paint the picture a little bit for me. Like what would you like that to look like 5 years from now?
So moving forward, our name will be CT Restoration.
Okay.
Because that's our most profitable service. That's where we get ahead. That's where our people get raises. That's where our new vehicles come from. So moving into Austin or Scottsdale or Phoenix, it'll be CT Restoration, and we'll specialize in fire and flood. And our outline will be cleaning and air ducts and polished concrete and wood floors. The things that keep us in front of the customer, but don't make us money. And they do make a profit, don't get me wrong, but the margins are not even anywhere close to if we, do a flood or a fire. And that sounds bad, and I've always hated to say that, but somebody's going to do it. You have a flood. I didn't cause it. We didn't make it happen. Somebody's going to do it. So it might as well be someone that you love and trust and, are comfortable with. So.
Something you said in that is really interesting to me because we work with a lot of business owners with our Stack Business Coaching, and we do what we call our profit or product profitability audit to see, hey, is this making you money or not? And if it's not, sometimes it doesn't mean necessarily you got to drop it, because it might be a complementary product or service that's driving foot traffic in your door, and And then the next thing that they're going to buy is the thing that really does make your business money. So I see that with you guys. When did you start the restoration side of the business, and was that a real pivotal moment for you?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about that earlier, and I really couldn't find it, but that probably was the biggest pivotal moment when I realized that restoration was our moneymaker. It was about 25 years ago.
Okay.
It was at a customer of mine. He had been a customer for like 5 years, loved him to death, and he had a huge flood in his basement. Huge, like way out of my league. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing. And he said, Chet, do you do this? I was like, yes, of course we do that. I mean, we do this
We're going to do
we do
it.
this every day, right?
Yeah.
So right then I learned all the ins and outs of restoration. But the carpet cleaning was what got us in the door, because we had done that. We probably made, $2,000 off of him in the last 10 years, cleaning his carpet, just because of the time and energy and all that. And then on that flood job, we quadrupled that, which
That'll get your attention as a business owner.
And insurance sets the prices, so it's not like you can gouge or anything. You do charge what they charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere in that, in our marketing department, we lost sight of what truly made us money, and we got hooked on keeping the trucks running. So we were plugged into keeping these trucks going. We got 200 something trucks company wide, and all we cared about was keeping them going. So we started heavily marketing floor care again, and dropped restoration, air ducts, specialty flooring.
So y'all were measuring the wrong thing.
We were totally measuring, and it was poor communication from the top down. When I showed our marketing director, like, hey, this is what makes us money, she was like, what?
Oh, wow.
I had no earthly idea, And so that's how all this co-branding, and that's how all that came about, with that huge eye-opener of, hey, this is why we exist. Everything else, like you just talked about, is just to keep our crews busy, keep us in the home, and when they have a large loss, they know who to call, because we've educated them and we've been in their home so many times. So that was a huge eye-opener to me. And one of the reasons I say it never stops, because if you turn your back for 1 second, you always trust but verify.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we're hitting on all cylinders, and our revenue just keeps going down. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So we had a meeting, figured out that whatever $1.7 million of our marketing budget was spent on floor care. And you could Google water damage in my office, literally, and we didn't show up. The largest restoration company in West Texas, and we're not even talking.
Oh, wow, yeah. That would open your eyes real fast.
It did. It was a good lesson. So trust but verify, always.
Yeah. And know what numbers you should actually be aiming for,
right,
that are going to drive up your profits, because if we're just busy, that doesn't necessarily translate to the bottom line.
Busy doesn't do anything except for wear out people and equipment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of business owners, pretty much every business owner listening to this podcast, is thinking, I am busy. I am always busy.
That's all that matters.
Right? Yeah, but that does not mean you're doing the right thing. So
trust me, I know firsthand.
What a great lesson.
Yeah, I have not much to add to that, except that product profitability audit is so eye-opening, and I mean, you're not unique in that
No.
People are siloed in their operations, and they maybe the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and I think that's one of the secrets in business, is being able to paint the big picture and articulate the big picture to everybody, and everybody understand how they fit into that.
Yeah.
Your crew chief knows when they're in that home and they're cleaning the floors and they see there's a little more damage than there should be. They have an eye for that, and they know, hey, that's an opportunity right there. There's a need, and that's a need that we can fulfill. And them knowing, hey, that's where profitability is.
That's right.
And there's insurance tied to that. This house is going to benefit from that.
Yeah.
And then you're just connecting the dots.
They need us, and we can help.
Yeah, but them knowing
Yeah.
Knowing that the left hand, knowing what the right hand is doing is, that's the secret. That's the great game in business.
It definitely is.
So that's where we talked about this early on. That's where the non-internal positions began. Is, hey, we need someone that knows that, the Google pick or Google whatever. You can tell why I need somebody.
Yeah.
I don't even know
the expertise you don't have.
Yeah. And the marketing and the outside sales, and so we hired a outside marketing director and a growth and sales and a COO and all these positions that we just didn't have the knowledge in house and had never done it at that level for sure. So that's where that started, is reaching out and
finding the right talent.
We even got a recruiter involved and went after some people.
Okay. Like a headhunter.
Headhunter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
It's good to I think that would be a problem that once you get to a certain scale, you have. I could see how for those first few years, grabbing the athletes and then them learning the inside, the business, and then growing, like that works until you get to a certain point. But then you're going to have to go after a different level of talent or a different skill set.
That's right. That have been there.
Right.
The learning curve's got to stop somewhere, and you got to just adapt from someone or recruit someone else that has been there, and they're like, no, this is how you do it.
Yeah. Somebody else could probably. I've got you probably got a ton of smart people who could learn, but you just don't have the time to wait around and let them become an expert
or teach them.
Yeah, get them that training.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to end on a high note, and I'm just curious, what's something fun coming up for you on the horizon? What's something that you're looking forward to?
So I don't have much fun, as we talked about, because I love to fly. So that's my.
Do you fly your own planes?
Yeah, I fly helicopters and planes.
Oh, cool.
Take people hog hunting, and so I have to do that in the morning.
Oh, nice.
So that's a lot of fun.
Wait, do y'all do those hunts from the helicopter where you're looking for them to scare them out and all that?
Yeah, you just I own the covered S that's just south of town.
Oh yeah.
And
cool.
I take customers up in the helicopter, and you just cruise along until you see some, and
that's fun.
Get after it. So I love that. That's exciting. And then we have a tech tailgating coming up. BYU. That's
yes, big game.
We finally
college game day.
We finally have our new rig done, which was 4 years in the making.
Oh my!
By the way, CT Customs.
Okay.
That's another one. They killed it. It's 56 foot long.
Cool.
It's out. Y'all got to come check it out.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah,
it's unfreaking believable. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And looking forward to both of those things.
See, he's so full of it. He does.
Yeah.
He does
no fun, and then
no fun, and
it's work.
And he builds a business around it, and that okay. We can end on this. Is entrepreneurship is incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
It is so hard. You doubt yourself all the time, but you get to build the life. You get to build a business that supports your life.
That's right. You just classify it as work in your head. Like I'm going to make money flying people around in a badass helicopter shooting
pigs.
Yeah, but I'm getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people pay for that, and that's their fun. So
that's right.
Yeah. You've built a life you don't need a vacation from.
That's true. There you hit it on the head. That is exactly right.
Cool.
100%.
Well, man, thank you so much for being a guest.
Yes.
That was great. And
thanks for thinking of me.
You bet. All right. If you are a business owner and you feel stuck in your business, go to our website, stagcoaching.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, click to book your free consultation. And in your free consultation, we can help give you the next 3 steps you need to take your business to the next level. It's free, and it's on our website, stagcoaching.com. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.